Alright, so I don't know how many of you still play video games, but I can tell you right now, love is one of the hardest games I've ever played. Here's the worst part, most men don't even realize they're playing. You see, they're walking through life on autopilot, hoping that they'll meet the right one, that they just need to be themselves and be authentic and everything will work itself out, right? It's either when it comes to making the relationship work or attracting the right woman. Like, this is some accident, it's some luck, and then eventually, bam, it's all gonna click like a fairy tale. The funny thing is that it doesn't work with anything else. It doesn't work with your physique, it doesn't work with your finances. So why would it work with your love? Anyways, what if I told you that winning in love works just like a video game, right? So there are levels, there are character upgrades, and most importantly, you get to try and try again until eventually you crack the code like I did, and you either get married or you live your bachelor life forever and ever, or you figure out how to sleep with whoever you want to sleep with. That does get boring, and I tried that. Or you marry your best friend and build a family with them like I did. So in this video, I'm going to change how you see relationships forever. Right, here's the truth most of you don't want to hear. You're not losing women because you're not good enough. You are losing them because you don't even know the rules to the game. And I'm not here to blame you because it's not your fault. No one actually taught you this. Now, this is where most men stop. No armor, no map, just good vibes and no emotional awareness of the fact that you're in an emotional war. Just a belief. If I'm good to her, she'll choose me. Come on. I'm good to people, people will be good back to me. You see, you fold when she gets loud, you explain when she gets distant, and the worst one is you chase when she pulls back. These are 3 red flags that are going to set you right back to zero every single time you do them. Now, in her eyes, this is what it looks like, so I can help you understand why it's so bad. You're spamming the same weak move, hoping for a different result. And just like in any game, that gets boring, especially if you're playing. Have you ever played online and the guys just, okay, I'll give you an example. When I was playing Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2, I've played with some serious kids in there and it's ridiculous. I thought I could do something and I got embarrassed, right? And it was so bad that sometimes I didn't even touch them. Like, it was just it was a one-way fight where they were just beating me to the ground. That's what most of you guys are doing at this level. I was stuck here, and I remember asking the girl I was with at the time, why don't you respect what I say? Which is a big red flag. God, please don't do that. It's horrible. And this is what we do. We disguise vulnerability as incompetence and expect people to show up for it. When I said that, she actually would do the opposite. So I guess at the time it felt like the fair thing to ask for. But what I didn't realize is that it actually took me years to understand that I was asking her to follow a man that I haven't become yet. But I was so deluded that I was the guy that she should follow. Because why is she not following me? I mean, yeah, fair enough, I'm not sticking to my word. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm not exactly where I want to be. Yeah, sure, I mean, I'm not exactly sticking to my own word. I'm not exactly being as confident as I need to be. But I'm still a guy. I'm still, I'm alright. I look after her, right? I chose her, so she should choose me. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Level 1 is the performer, alright? At this stage, you've read some books. I remember this was the stage where I started reading 5 Love Languages, How to Make a Marriage Work, 7 Principles to Make a Marriage Work, and a few others. And on top of this, I watched some alpha male podcasts. I was watching Felix Fearless, AMG, Stethoscope, Austin Dunham. It was more because of the workouts, but then he's kind of gone to the red pill stuff. I mean, fair play to him. But I basically got in my head I needed to make some money. I was being pretty sad. Wasn't actually performing to the best of my ability, and I started hitting the gym. Went through a breakup, and deep down, I was still scared of conflict, so I became emotionally numb. And I thought that was the escape, because we can't fight if I don't show up to the ring. So you can argue with yourself, and I'm just not gonna get involved. And I just thought this was brilliant. I don't have to get involved with the emotions. I could just pack everything in that emotional wardrobe and never talk about it again. Great. Oh, I want to talk about, and I was single, right? So every single time it came to the initial phase, I was good at it. I was cold. I'd been in sales, so I knew exactly how to navigate and speak to people and get through to people and be charming. When it came to actually connecting with people, I'd say, oh, talk to me about your past, or talk to me about your ex-relationship. We're not doing that. Or if I was doing that, I would do it with I kind of don't want to talk about this. Like, I really don't want to open up to you. So can we move on to the next thing? Just really dodging that whole topic. I was officially emotionally unavailable, because I thought that was what being mysterious was about. And I thought that because I was just being myself, they would stay, although they didn't. Some left, some stayed, and the ones that stayed didn't really have much. They didn't have much self-respect for themselves. I personally would have told them to leave. It wasn't going to work out, but they stayed, and it was up to them. But here's what happens, right? You control your tone, you act like a leader, and when your emotions rise, like I just said, you disappear, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Emotions are for feminine men. That's what you've been told. The problem is, if you want a relationship and you're stuck at stage 1, you're going to be able to sleep with people, yes. You're just not going to be able to connect with them. And sleeping with people is boring. If you've tasted sleeping with someone you actually connect with, this is science proof based. It's not even up to me. Whoever tells you that one night stands is fun, it's probably dodging trauma some way, shape or form. I'm sorry to break it to you. Right, so here, you're basically performing masculinity and not embodying it. Now, at level 2, you're the player that finally gets it. Now, I had gone through the way of a superior man at this stage. I had gone through training, I had leveled up my mindset, and I was very, very confident to the point where I was doing things that outside of my comfort zone, such as going to so-and-so parties and setting pace. But here's where everything changed for me, right? Because I realized that she didn't want me to be her piece, right? She wanted me to know how to protect my own peace. So this is when I started to shift from sleeping around to sleeping with women that were higher caliber and were not impressed by my skills in communication, being charming or bed skill, whatever the case is. It was more about, okay, do you actually have the mental capacity to handle your emotions, or are you just a talker? So in this case and scenario, I learned how to protect my space and peace by understanding how to go into that room and get messy, right? This was the phase where I had just come out of, acknowledged my depression, but in a way that allowed me to overturn. So there was this tug of war thing where it's like I had unleashed my, think of Naruto, right? The seventh, the fox. So imagine I'm Naruto and the fox has come out and it's just running wild. And this is when I signed the pact and I said, I'm gonna need your help, but I need to be present, right? I don't want to do Astor just in case, because I'm a Christian and the devil stuff is still a bit, it's not really, think of when he done the pact with the devil, right? Basically. But it only makes sense if you've watched it. I mean, it is the devil, but it's not really the devil, if you get what I'm trying to say. Never mind, just stick with Naruto and what I just said. So this is where you start upgrading your inner world, right? You go into the messy room and you start putting up the shelves and you say, okay, this is where my anger goes, this is where this goes, this is where that goes, and things just get a bit clearer. So you start to fix your emotions, not hers, and you start mastering your nervous system. So, by the way, in between this, I was also doing jiu-jitsu. So, perfect example that came here was, I met this, I was actually supposed to fight the teacher. And the teacher's a black girl, and I'm not even officially I'm barely like a novice here. I'm just sort of got some stuff from YouTube and some practice in the gym. And I was meant to fight him. And when I fought him, I thought if I show him my sheer strength, I could at least do some damage here. I got ridiculed, and it was so bad that I realized that because he was doing it with a smile, I don't care how strong you are, you go against the right opponent, you'll be obliterated if you think anymore. Especially if your head's not on the swivel. You need to have the ability to go through anger, go through all these things and still have your head on the shoulders, because that's exactly how you lose a fight. I used to think that the moment I lose my head and go, that's when I'm now decided to show full strength. No. I need to be able to. Best example is when Goku went into the time chamber and he came back. This was the Cell Saga, and he came back and started walking around normal, like he's a Super Saiyan, but he's just doing it casually. That's exactly what you want to do with your anger, with your frustration, with everything you've got going. You want to learn how to navigate your emotions so well that at a moment's touch, you can learn how to hone them, right? This is free game. I can't believe I'm giving this to you guys for free. People actually pay me for this. Anyways. So the questions you start asking yourself in this stage is, I want to make her happy. You go from I want to make her happy to who am I when she isn't happy? And even in my marriage, this is a crucial thing, right? Because there's times where my wife is upset. I need you to understand that this isn't a couple's journey. This isn't everyone goes through it together type of thing, everyone's body. No, this is a lonely journey where you're gonna have to discover how to heal your own work. You're gonna have to understand how to tidy up your own mess. And in this journey, I literally learned how to detach myself from times where my wife was upset with me. There were times where, even as I'm going through this, right? So this is where I basically met my wife. So this was the stage. I was at level 2. I finally got it and I wanted to be out. Like, I got bored of the whole sleeping around with different people, right? So in this case and scenario, there was times where my wife would upset me because we had an argument, whatever the case is, and my whole day is ruined until we speak about it. And I used to think that's normal, that's what relationships do. Well, what if I was to tell you there was a way out? There's actually a way. You can be, like, she can be upset and you're not parking it to the side. You're not kind of like being immune to it or refusing to detach yourself from it. No, you're actually dealing with it in your own way and allowing her to do so in her own time, but in a way that it doesn't affect you anymore because you've kind of moved on. You've just said, listen, this is what I'm going to focus on. So you're going to be okay whether or not she gets over it. Now that there is what I teach. So here you're basically shifting from being able to lead from insecurity to identity and direction. And most importantly, emotional clarity. You're able to clear your own fog. It's like, it's mastery here. This is powerful. Okay? Now, you see, here's the truth. I had to lose myself in a lot of relationships to realize that I had no emotional composure. I thought that leading meant staying quiet. I thought that being a man meant sacrificing my needs. And when I finally looked at the mirror, I did not like who I was becoming whilst doing that. So I rebuilt everything from the inside out. And now, not only did I recalibrate my emotional state, not only did I rewire how I responded to disrespect, not only did I train myself like I was in a boss fight because it was, But I learned how to utilize this whole network or system to earn my wife's trust in leadership, and that is at all seasons. I'm talking good season, bad season, rainy season, sunny seasons. The ability for your wife to trust you comes from you having such a peaceful ability to connect with yourself that she can see that, babe, I am genuinely going to be fine whether you're here or not. But because you're here, have some of my peace. That is, you have so much peace within you that you can start sharing amongst people. Your daughter, your wife, right? And the home now reflects your standard. And you see, coming from where I'm coming from is such a rewarding thing to have. The ability to connect with not just your family, but yourself in a way that it allows you to come home and say, this is my home and I'm at peace in it. Now, the men I coach are no longer bleeding from that love that's draining them, right? They win the game of love because of this very concept. I call it recalibrate, rebuild, and reclaim frame. If you don't master the role in love, you will keep downloading broken beliefs from society, or worse, from women who don't even like you. This is the one game where you don't need to be lucky. You just need to be prepared at all times. You need to be emotionally calibrated, identity-led, and most importantly, present. Because you see, if you implement these things, I'm telling you, some of the most horrible partners in the world could be filtered out or fixed. Here's the deal. You've tried therapy, you've read the books, and I can recommend you some. Honestly, one of the greatest books at the moment I've read is Iron Man by Robert Bly, right? You've held the space, but this is still not working. And the reason why this isn't working is because love doesn't reward knowledge, it rewards execution. I've been executing this enough to know and tell you what works and what doesn't. So you can do this on your own and you'll probably figure it out eventually. Heck, it took me 50 years to do it. But what they didn't tell you about life is that life is a game of time. And it can take you 15 years like it did me. And just so you know, I didn't come from a broken home. I mean, yeah, my parents did divorce, but I had a good relationship with my dad, who was giving me solid advice from a very young age. And he was a counselor for a lot of people around his community who needed advice and counseling in regards to how to handle their marriages and relationships. So I actually had a head start, and it still took me how much it took me. Maybe I'm dumb. That may be also true. Or maybe this is how much we need to unlearn in order to get to where we need to go. Right? So what I have done is I have built a 12-week coaching program for men who want to win the game of love. And in this program, I've got men who were divorced. I've got men who want to prepare for marriage. I've got men who are in draining relationships and want to figure out whether they should stay, leave, or figure out what the next steps look like. But I've got men who are winning in other areas of their life, just not when it comes to love. And like I said earlier, this is the recalibrate, rebuild, and reclaim framework that once you learn, you will never need me again with. I mean, you can stick around and sort of see what I carry on learning, because of course this is really the start. But this is not for soft hearts, okay? This is for the men that want peace without begging. And if that's you, go in my description right now and book a 30-minute clarity call with me, okay? Where in that call, I'll be seeing if you're someone that's fit enough to enter the program, or if our visions align and I can assist you. My work, or the work I do, can be used for many things. And I refuse to give it to people who don't align with wanting the right things in life. Why? Because it's my choice to decide who I share this work with. Alright? So, if you want to win the game of love, You need to become the player worth following. And you know exactly what I mean by that. Please don't crop this and misread what I actually said. But I'll see you in the next video. Peace.